Cambo. My name is Katherine Taylor. I'm the head gardener here at Cambo, this is one of a series of talks we're going to be doing for the Discover Scottish Gardens Spring Flower Festival. So here we are at Cambo in the evening of Fife on a very cold and windy, blustery day at the beginning of April. Our snowdrops, which were really well known, have pretty much gone over now, but we're finding that there's lots of other spring colour, which is what we're going to have a look at today. So I think most of the plants that provide spring colour can be divided into three main categories. So we've got the shrubs and trees, we've got the early flowering perennials, and then we've got a lot of bulbs as well. So we'll start with some of the shrubs and trees that we've got here in the winter garden. When they first come out, tinged with silver, and then they just get larger. And Mount Aso, I just discovered this morning, is one of the sort of largest volcano in Japan, so that's what that's named after. We've got another willow at the back there, you can just see with the slightly red tinged stems, and that one's Nancy Saunders. And then if we just walk up this way a little bit, this one here is called Salix melanostacis, and when the catkins on this come out, they're really, really dark black. You can just see one there, that's really dark black, and it looks really stunning. So they're a lovely thing to have at this time of year, and to look after them you would maybe cut back the stems by about a third, or you could coppice them really hard, but you probably wouldn't get catkins as well then. So yeah, just to have another look at another of these willows. This one is called Seca, and I thought it was just interesting. This one has got a habit of doing this thing that plants sometimes do called fasciation, where a stem sort of all fuses together, so you get these very flat pieces of stem, which is quite an interesting feature, and this is actually a sort of habit of this particular one. So other shrubs that are providing really good colour, we've got the Skimmia here. This is Skimmia Dew Green. It's a shame that you can't smell it. It smells absolutely wonderful. And there's also, this is the male version, which has these lovely flowers, and there's also a female version which has white berries after the flowers. Another shrub that's just popping out at the moment, we've got Sorbaria. Again, lovely pinky green tinged leaves. Quite a vigorous shrub. Takes a while to get established, but then it starts to send up suckers all over the place. You can see them just coming up here. So that's just worth thinking about when you're planting that, so that it doesn't take over your garden. So the other group of plants that we were going to talk about are the spring flowering perennials and the bulbs. And they're really important from a wildlife point of view at this time of the year because they provide lots of nectar for bees. So just as the snowdrops and snowflakes back in January were providing food for the bees, these are the next stage really, and they're plants that tend to be associated often with woodland habitats because they're things that flower at a time of year when the deciduous trees haven't quite got their leaves yet. So they're quite ephemeral. They will come up, do their thing, flower, and then as the summer goes on, the flowers will go away and often leave a sort of a gap after that. So we've got lots of bulbs. We've got things like the muscari, the little blooms there. We've got the pushkinia, the scillas that we've got scattered around here, and of course all sorts of different types of narcissi as well. And then this is a very typical plant of woodland environment. So this is Pulmonaria rubra. You can see the nice fresh foliage here and the salmony pink flowers. And Pulmonaria's common name is lungwort, which is because the ancient herbalists used to think that the leaves were shaped and looked a bit like lungs. They're often very splodgy with white spots on them. This one's quite a clear one. Part of the Boraginaceae family, which is the forget-me-not family, and quite a lot of spring flowering plants. Pulmonaria blue ensign. Quite unusual in that the leaves are totally unspotted or blotchy, and it has these very clear blue flowers as well. So that's a really nice plant for creeping around under trees. And another little gem that we have here is this Pachytia or Pachetia epipactis. These are actually the flowers here. You've got the little tiny yellow flowers in the middle, and then the sort of ruff of bracts around the outside, and then the leaves are tucked underneath. It's a plant that's in the carrot family, and it's extremely sort of ephemeral in that it just does this, and then later in the year you won't see it at all. And then this is another plant that I didn't know until I came to Cambo. This is Synthris. Flowers a little bit like the muscari bulbs, and then these nice round flowers, quite unassuming plant, and the common name for that is kitten tails. We've also got lots of primulas doing their thing at this time of year. Primula obviously means first, comes from the Latin primus, which means one of the first flowers to flower. This is a lovely one called Ear, after the island of Ear. And it's a really nice, it's been flowering for probably about 3 months now almost, and it will just sort of spread itself around as time goes on. So yeah, just still in the winter garden, I thought another primula. We looked at the Primula Ghia up there, the white one. This is Primula megacipholia, which again has been flowering for months and is a really lovely pink flower. And you can see, if you look, just looking down that way, we've got these little clusters of different kinds of primula as you walk your way down towards the walled garden entrance. And we've got lots of hellebores which are looking really lovely. We've got the white ones, and then over here a deep black one. And they're flowering away, have been flowering for quite a long time. It's worth remembering to cut the leaves off in the winter so that you get a really good display of flowers. Down this way and have a look at Arum italicum that Buddy's just walked past. Lovely foliage and colour, and the deep purple hellebores behind that. And I just missed one thing, let's go back and show you. Slightly past its best now, but this is Iris lazica, which has these lovely purpley blue flowers. Very early flowering, quite like an Iris unguicularis, but it does very well in a shady setting. So I think we'll go and have a look in the walled garden now and see what's flowering in there. Right, so we've moved now, we're inside the walled garden at Cambo, and we're in a series of beds that were mainly designed using plants from the woodland habitat. So, as I was saying earlier, that means that there's quite a lot of things which flower early in the year, and one of the things that you'll see quite a lot at Cambo at the moment is the Erythronium dens canis, which is an American bulb, and commonly known as dog's tooth violet. It has these very nice purple flowers, and then these nice blotchy leaves, and that spreads around once it gets established, so that's a lovely thing to put underneath trees and shrubs. And then we'll just step round here. Also a time when we have quite a lot of woodland anemones coming out, and this is one of my favourites, which is Anemone ranunculoides, I think, which is a lovely little yellow anemone. And that will disappear completely later in the year, and you won't even know it's there, but then it pops up again in spring and you see it. And that's next to the veratrum, which is a great big tall plant, but at this time of year you've just got this lovely cabbagey effect of foliage. So we'll look at a few more things as we walk up the border. Again, quite a few scillas and pushkinias popping their way through here. And the Arum italicum with the variegated leaves. More of the Pulmonaria blue ensign. And then another nice shrub here, which is quite a modest little shrub. This is Ribes orifolium with these little racemes of cream flowers. Doesn't do very much, but the flowers are really pretty. And then another very transient plant. This is Cataphragma with the little white flowers on there. And then a different pulmonaria. This one is Sissinghurst white, and you can see on here what I meant earlier about the very blotchy leaves, and that's very typical of lots of pulmonaria. This is a lovely white flowered one. Just stepped around the other side of the border. We've got quite a lot of these trilliums, which are a really choice plant for this time of year. North American plant, again very transient, pop up, do their thing, often have red and white flowers, and they're all in threes, so we've got three petals, 3 bracts and 3 leaves, and again often quite transitory. Later in the year you wouldn't be able to see that was there. Just Charlotte doesn't fall in the border. Also got lots of epimediums. So again, another like the hellebore, something that's quite important to cut back early in the year so that you get the fresh foliage and the little often yellowy or pinky orange flowers at this time of year. And this is another wood anemone here. And then I think one of the things that really sort of stars in the show at the moment is this little pea. And this is Lathyrus vernus, which is an everlasting little pea, and has these really brightly coloured flowers, and then later on as the flowers go over you get these fancy little seed pods which are long like a pea, and then they unspiral and all the seeds pop out, so they self-seed around the place. And then just a last look up here in this bit of the garden, which is a very shady bed up here, so we've got quite a lot of hellebores growing in here. We've got a white trillium, and then we've got these Omphaliodes and Brunnera. Sorry, both of them Brunnera. Getting ahead of myself. So both Brunneras in the forget-me-not family. Flowers are very forget-me-not-like, but the leaves are quite a lot larger, and they tend to be white or blue. So I think we'll sort of just walk through the woodland garden, and then we'll go and have a little look in Penny's garden at the top of the wall garden. This is Corilopsis, a woodland shrub with lovely yellow flowers. And then this is the Omphaliodes, which I was talking about, which is another forget-me-not plant. And then you can just see sort of bouncing around the garden little bits of blue. You can see the acid green of the euphorbia over there standing up. I think just walking around you sort of feel that it's a real blue and yellow time of year. Right, we've just moved into a different part of the walled garden. And for those of you who haven't been to Cambo, quite unusual in that we have a burn running right through the middle of the walled garden. So both sides slope down to the burn in the middle. And in this part of the garden we're going to start to manage this as wild meadow, and we've got early bulbs. So we planted a couple of years ago a lot of these snake's head fritillaries, which are really gorgeous flowers that like growing in wet meadows. We've also planted some narcissi here, some of the quite natural looking ones, so that hopefully these will bulk up over time. And if Charlotte just pans round to the other side, you can see in front of the hedge there, we've got Muscari, the great hyacinth, which just grows right this way. And I think we'll just go and have a look at Penny's garden, which has got some blue in it this time. Over the bird. Garden because Sir Peter Erskine's aunt was Penny, and she used to garden in this bit of the garden. And a few years ago some of our apprentices built up the walls to create these raised beds, and you can grow some little jewels in here. So we've got narcissi that we planted last autumn called Minnow, which has these lovely little cup-shaped flowers. We've got some saxifrages, a pink one here and a little white one here. Which I think a lot of people will recognise. You see it all over the place at this time of year. And this is a prostrate rosemary, which is just coming into flower. This is another euphorbia that gives a nice splash of yellow. Euphorbia is a really diverse genus, and this is one of the miniature little ones which really likes the sunshine. Let's have a last look at a couple of plants on this side. This is quite an unusual little plant. This is Jeffersonia dubia, which I think comes from China. There's a North American version as well, but it has these lovely papery little leaves tinged with red, and then little bowl-shaped purple flowers. And then this is also another bulb that we put in here last autumn. This is Tulipa humilis Lilliput, which is a Lilliputian little miniature tulip, which is really lovely. And then we just pan up out of here and up to our double herbaceous border. You can just see there in the distance, I think, that there are tulips starting to come out there. And in another few weeks that will be covered in red tulips. And this area here where we've got Shelley sweeping the paths will be covered in lots of orange tulips as well. So hopefully that shows you a little bit of the spring colour that we've got at this time of year.